What's going on, people? Welcome to a live match preview. It's the first time we're doing this. It's a quick turnaround of games. We didn't have much time to record it, edit it. So we thought, you know what? Let's jump on with you guys and have you guys' say on the game as well. Massive game tomorrow against Wolves. I'm joined by T here for the preview. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you're watching on replay, make sure to leave your comments in the comment section down below. Before we do start the show, me and T were talking this. Let's get this settled. So what on earth is a biscuit and a cookie over in America? Because a custard cream biscuit is a biscuit. It's not a cookie. But you're telling me it's a cookie over there. So how on earth do you lot operate? Just explain it to me. Explain it to me how you lot operate over there.
Okay. So what you all call a biscuit, a custard cream in this situation, looking at what a custard cream is and everything, we call a sandwich cookie. It's a cookie still.
Sandwich cookie? What?
Yes, because if you think about it, the top and the bottom of it are both cookies and there's filling in the inside. That's why they call it a sandwich cookie. An Oreo is a sandwich cookie.
Oreo not a cookie. I'm sorry, but
here, look, I'm not debating.
In the chat. Oreo is never a cookie. A cookie is a cookie. A cookie is a circle.
First of all, we can't sit here and debate in the chat because the majority of the chat is going to be people from the UK. They're going to call it what they call it.
We got people from Australia. Like
all I'm saying is this. I call it what they call it here, what I've been raised to call it. I'm not faulting nobody for what they call it.
I've heard it all, man. A sandwich cookie. But look, let's move on. Let's move on to the game. Let us know what you guys think, anyways. Is an Oreo a sandwich cookie? God knows what that means. I wonder what an actual cookie is over in America.
Type in a sandwich cookie, bro. Go on Google and type in a sandwich cookie.
We'll look out. We'll talk about it towards the end of the show. Let's start off with our thoughts ahead of the game. So the game against Everton was genuinely just average. I thought. I don't know about you, T. We were fine in defense. But how are we feeling ahead of this game after seeing that performance?
I mean, I wouldn't say like up or down. You know what I mean? Kind of even keeled because like you're still coming on 4 unbeaten. You know, can we have an improved performance? Absolutely. And the fact that we've been playing pretty well away from home is another encouraging thing. So it's kind of hard to say. I think I'm kind of even keeled with it, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, I feel like we're going to have games along the way where we're just not going to perform like we have done in the last 3 games. It's natural. I think just being that consistent for the last 10 games, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And I feel like that was... I wouldn't even say it's an off day. I feel like you have to also give credit to Everton. For how they control us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they shut off the likes of Eze and Elise. But in this game, I'm a bit more confident than the Everton game because the Everton game, I was expecting it to be tight due to the fact that, you know, I know Sean Dyche, how they're going to set up and it's going to be annoying, which it was. It was annoying to watch that game. But against Wolves, I see it being more of an open game. So how do you even see the game panning out in terms of like openness? Do you reckon it'll be more open than the Everton game?
I think it'll be more open just because I don't think Wolves are going to come out and just defend the way that Everton does. You know what I mean? And then part of it is the managerial aspect of it, how the managers like to play. And I think Lopetegui is going to have them playing a little bit more expensive. So I think opportunities will be there for us to score chances and things. I don't think they're going to have that, you know, the block defending, things like that. So I would expect it to be a little bit more open than the Everton match.
What about in terms of squad selection? So let's talk about that because the main talking point, as you guys can see from the title, is going to be the striker situation. It wasn't that great against Everton, but it's a conversation that I think you can have in this game. And I don't think it's as straightforward as dropping Edouard or, you know, bringing in Mateta because there's ifs and buts. There's lots of other questions that you can lead up to, but we're going to talk about that. But in terms of, you know, even tiredness, Mitch says it in the chat, rotate as much as we can. Do you expect to see a bit more rotation in this game? Maybe the likes of Luca coming on or starting, or do you think Roy will keep it as it is? Because, it's a quick turnaround. Saying that, Wolves have a similar situation. So I would be okay with it to be this, similar squad. Maybe 1 or 2 changes there, which I'll talk about in just a second. But for you, any rotations expected?
I don't expect any rotation, to be honest with you. Especially after hearing what Roy said in the presser. He was talking about how hard rotation can be and how hard it is to do. And if that isn't a vote against it, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? I don't think we change strikers. Because I don't think that I've seen anything that would make me want to change strikers, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere that I changed. The only change I would have made it is if Wilf would have been healthy, maybe you move IU to striker and bring Wilf in. But sounds like Wilf's not going to be ready. So with that being said, I don't really see any change in there. Nah, I can't see anything.
Okay, so let's talk about the striker situation, and you guys get involved as well in the chat. So look, before the Everton game, it was 3 wins and 3. I mean, you can't basically change that side because we were scoring goals, not conceding many. But in this game, I don't even think it's the case of we didn't score any goals. It's a problem up front. For me, I've been a massive Edouard fan, but there comes a time where you're just thinking maybe he's just not good enough. Because I'm not even looking at his chance in front of goal. I'm just looking at his technical abilities. And against Everton, I know we wasn't great as a team. I know you can make the debate that maybe Eze wasn't all that, maybe Elise wasn't all that. You can have that debate. I think that's normal to have. But one thing that was clear was Edouard was not on his game. So should we change up in this game? You're saying that you wouldn't, but how comes you wouldn't change it up?
Because Mateta doesn't give me any, or hasn't given me any feeling that he's going to be better up there. I mean, he's come in and he's done equally as, to be honest with you, if you still think about it, Edouard has still played better holistically, you know what I'm saying? With his goal that he scored recently and his link-up play, he still played better than Mateta has when he's come on. So I don't have a reason for saying, hey, we need to start Mateta over Edouard. I don't think he's been better than him by any means when he's played, and he doesn't give me a reason to want to be honest.
Yeah, for me, it was a case of if Wilf is fit, I think we have to make the change. We'll see. I reckon in this game, I think Edouard will probably get another chance up front. And there's also the other side of looking at things, such as, we're still unbeaten. Do you think Roy will still, I guess we'll talk about in the West Ham preview when that happens, but do you think Roy will make many changes if we remain unbeaten? I just don't see it happen in the first place. Nah. I'm saying that if players don't perform, there should still be changes. It's not as straightforward as, we're still unbeaten and don't make any changes. But then again, maybe the balance of the team can, go a bit if those changes were to happen. But for me, I'll probably start Edouard in this game. I probably would. But that's because there's no other real options. I think Mateta for me, he doesn't give me that level of confidence that, if Mateta was to start, that he's going to come on and he's going to score goals. But Mateta scored a goal against Leicester, so we don't really know under Roy. He hasn't really had that much opportunities under Roy. But if you're Mateta, aren't you looking at that game and thinking Edouard didn't do much? Why can't I get a run?
I don't know, maybe. But at the same time, you could also say to yourself, man, I haven't really done much to prove that I need to be out there. So I don't know. Yeah,
but then again, he scored that goal against Leicester in the last minute. It's a new start. It's a new start at the club for all these players. And he done his job, I guess, when he has come on.
And Edouard scored against who? Who did Edouard score against?
Leeds. It was Leeds.
Leeds. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe, honestly, as a competitor, as an athlete, I would be surprised if he didn't feel like, hey, why am I not out there? It'd be weird if he didn't, to be honest. So, yeah. And honestly, I could understand the chat about rotation from that perspective, because maybe you start Mateta midweek and then you tried out Edouard against West Ham. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad at that move, but I just don't think Roy's going to do it. Roy doesn't tend to be the type of guy who does a lot of changing with his lineups either. Yeah, even when we're losing.
Exactly. He's not the one for changes, but then again, we look at Edouard's performance as someone who's been trying to be a fan of his, is making it harder for me for a long time. He just doesn't give me confidence. But then again, Mateta doesn't also. So I guess for this game, we can both agree that not for this game, but maybe I don't know about you about West Ham, but we'll see what happens in this game. But West
Mhm.
Ham game, I think potential changes should be happening. I don't think Wolf should be on the bench and Edouard should be playing up front. I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me, or even Mateta for that sake. SC says 2-0 incoming, seeing the average position of the Wolves players, and they are very far over to the right, giving Eze and Elise a lot of space running behind. Sorry, the slow centre backs. Ward will need to be on his A game for the diagonal balls. Yeah, we did. What did it make of the combination between Eze and Elise? I didn't see it as much, especially in the first half. In the second half, they had their periods, especially Elise when he was getting on the ball, but I didn't really see them combine as much. I guess you can give credit to the Everton defense for that, but in this game, I think that combination, we need to try make them involved once again, because when the two of them combine, then it's trouble. Then it's trouble. When it's like one-on-ones and trying to do individually beating the players, then it gets a bit easier to defend against. But in this game, I'd also like to see something like that. But what do you think it was then? Was it just Everton defense, or did you see anything else? The reason why they didn't combine as much?
Well, I think one of the reasons why they didn't combine as much, in particularly in the first half, was because we did so much attacking down the left hand side. Jordan Ayew had the ball a ton in the first half against Everton. Not saying that was a bad thing. I mean, he played really well against them.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of focus put on the attack down the left between him and between Tyrick Mitchell. They had a lot of time on the ball. And that, along with the fact that, Everton, I think, probably had some game planning going into this one, trying to limit Eze and Elise and at least their link up. I think they did a pretty good job of that for the most part. So I think those two things combined is probably why we saw less from them in terms of leaking up.
Yeah. Let's look at the league table as we always do in the previews. Of course, now we're looking at live league table. So pre-game week 33, as it stands, Palace are still 12th. Surprise, surprise. If we win, could go 11th. Draw could take us down to, won't take us down to keep us at 12th. And a loss potentially could drop down to 13th, but it's not going to happen because Wolves are 13th and the goal difference is massive. So we'll still remain 12th. Are we cursed? Are we cursed with this soft spot? Because I just don't understand it. I guess you could see it as a positive. I mean, we remain 12th all this long, but the one time we're trying to escape it against Everton, we still can't go get a win. Do we have faith that this could be the game that we can escape it? I mean, I don't think it'll be that much easier than Everton. Maybe there might be a few more spaces behind, but we've just been top for so long.
I don't know, man. I take this curse over the curse of being in a relegation battle any day,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm sure everybody in the chat would agree with me. I mean, was Everton the match that we wanted it to be? No. Was it a step in the right direction towards closing that gap on Chelsea? Yes, it was. Even though they got the game in hand and things, but at least we didn't not get points out of that experience. So. I think we just take another step in the right direction with this one, and you get a win and put the pressure on Chelsea. They need to cover the gap then. So I think we're in a good spot, honestly. Like crazy enough, 12th FC, 12th FC,
12th FC, exactly. But that's the thing, though. You just want to after the Everton game. Let's say we won that game. We're talking about being 11th, looking up the table. It kind of I don't know about you guys, but one, there wasn't much to talk about. It was a pretty boring game in terms of talking points. There wasn't much to talk about, even though we saw Match do a live match reaction for an hour. God knows how. If we're going to do a match reaction for an hour about that game, then we can probably do about every single game. And also, secondly, it's just, look, if we start getting draws, it's not going to be the end of the world. But then again, the season is going to get very boring. It could potentially get boring. It depends on how you look at it, because I mean, some people will just be happy with 12, and I'm not going to be disappointed with 12 because, it means that we stayed up. But then again, when you have this good run of games, you'd expect to kick on in this game as well. And in this game, I'm just looking to push on. I'm looking to try and go get that win, because I don't know about you, T, but we've had some, good results against them. Even in the reverse fixture against Wolves, we managed to beat them. The last season, forget about results, we had our best performance against Wolves. But I guess we both changed managers. So in terms of the game that we're expecting, are we expecting a different kind of game because they got Lopetegui and we got Roy Hodgson?
Yeah, and I think another thing that you have to realize is Everton play a very different formation than what we'll see from Wolves too. So the game might flow differently. Being that Wolves plays at 4-4-2, we may see a different style and flow to the game played through in the midfield. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we can have a greater balance and more dominance in the midfield, because playing with the three, that may show a different flow than what we've seen in the Everton match.
Yeah, but then again, I feel like their midfield is stronger than Everton's as well. When you look at it like that, I assume Ruben Neves will probably come into it. Lamina, I think he's out injured.
He's out, and Neves didn't start last game.
Yeah, he didn't start last game because apparently he's the one that's slowing them down. I spoke to Dave from Doucoure.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah, and he said that Neves there was a debate about whether he should be starting or not. But then again, I guess if Neves, he said that Neves slows the game down. I guess if Neves slows it down, then it'll be easier for us to press them in them areas. And then you see the likes of Doucoure and Schlupp. But look, in the last 5 games, you've seen Wolves lose to Leicester in the most recent game, win against Brentford, beat Chelsea, drew against Forest, lost against Leeds. When you look at these results, they lost against Leicester, lost against Leeds, drew against Forest, but they beat Brentford and Chelsea. Against sides that are also struggling or kind of in and around them, they're not getting results as it is. That's what gives me a bit more confidence as well. But saying that, they got physical strikers. Diego Costa, I think he's a threat to watch out for in terms of Wolves. Cunha, he's also another one as well. But when you look at their most recent results, they got 2 wins out of 5. But I mean, they lost to Leicester. We saw what we done to Leicester. I guess they got a different manager now, so that probably changes things. But against Forest, they drew. Against Leeds, they lost. We should be aiming to go for a win. I personally feel like there's a bigger chance of getting a win more comfortably against Wolves than it was against Everton. Not that Wolves is a bad side, but due to how they play, they seem like they want to control possession and attack us. So they've had troubles dealing with counter-attack. So if we go sit back and try to hit them on a counter, which we've seen since Roy's come in, that it's been all right for us, that approach, then I feel like there's a bigger chance, funny enough, in this game than against the likes of Everton.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it too is, we still play well on the counter since we've had Roy rejoin us, but it's not the same style of play off of the counter. Yeah. We're not just sitting back in a 4-4 low block and trying to counter. We're definitely having more pressure up front, playing a better game. So interesting to see how it works out, because like I said, it had that 2 in the midfield. I wonder how that's going to influence against our 4-4-3 and what that's going to look like, and the personnel that's going to be out there, because just looking for instance what Aaron was saying right here, Podence, Traore, Neves, Cunha, 3 of those 4 players more than likely aren't going to start against us. You know what I mean? Of those 4, the only one that's been starting consistently in the lineup is Cunha up top with Costa. Yeah. So, it's going to be. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how they, navigate things and who they put out there too.
Yeah, we'll read through some more comments in just a second. Let's just go through the show plan as it is. So in terms of pilots, who are we looking to perform? For me, I'm having this debate right now on Twitter. I think it's incredible, and it kind of proves my point. Doucoure has been killing it, and I don't think he gets the praises that he deserves. And I said this yesterday when I was planning this out. And today I'm having debates about Doucoure not being our best signing so far this season, and whether he's all that. Like, I don't think he gets the praise. I think he was fantastic against Everton, and I feel like we're seeing a bit more of a different Doucoure, because I think Roy even said it post game. Was it post game? I definitely heard him say it. He spoke to Gay, he spoke to Doucoure, and he said that these players need to stay more disciplined and make sure they don't get another yellow card. And I've seen a different Doucoure. For me, he needs to continue that in this game. As you said, they're going to have 2 midfielders, arguably, depending on what formation they play. Because, see, you're saying 2. But when I was speaking to Dave in our position preview, he was saying that they like to change things up. It's not as, the same system week in, week out. It's not like a 4-3-3. Right. But for me, Doucoure has been killing it. And we need to make sure he performs once again. I thought he was a brick. I thought he was a brick in front of that defense. And he cleaned up all the messes against Everton.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, Doucoure is the type of player that his style of play and what he contributes to the team is very much the thing that can lead him to being overlooked because he's such a workman. You know, he controls the midfield. He breaks up play. He's very much a very traditional number 6 in a single pivot. Comparatively to the fact that he's not getting a lot of assists. He's not scoring goals from outside the box. So he's not doing the things that catch people's eye immediately from the stat sheet. You know what I mean? So I think the reason why we as Palace fans can appreciate him more is because we watch him week in and week out and we know what he brings to the squad.
Sorry to cut you off, but I'm having these debates with Palace fan. I'm having this debate with a Palace fan. That's what baffles me. That's why I feel like he's an unsung hero. I think he is, and it shouldn't be an unsung hero. But then again, when you do watch him, can't you just say like? For me, I just see his technical abilities. I don't think,
absolutely,
like there's anything about his game. Forget about the stats. His technical ability is much better than what we had under Kouyaté.
Yeah, because you couldn't trust Kouyaté to handle pressure, to make solid passes on a consistent basis. Like Doucoure is calm. He's collected. He's smooth with the ball. He distributes it well. He sees the pitch very well while also being a very sound tackler. Like he has everything that you want from a modern day defensive mid. You know what I mean? And I don't know if me personally, I don't know. Maybe we watch the game in a different way than some of these people do. You know what I'm saying? And that just may be really what it is. But I can't think of any new signing this year that's meant more to us than him. And absolutely not.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think as well in the chat. Do you guys think Doucoure is underrated? Are we overrating him? I'm genuinely curious because some of you lot may think that Doucoure isn't all that, and that's fair enough. But I just want to hear it and see what you guys think because I just find it baffling that he's in this unsung hero. Why is he unsung? Maybe it's because of Eze's and the defenders that's performing, but he's been apart from his yellow cards, he's been fantastic for us. I mean, he's been fantastic for us all season long, and without Doucoure, I reckon we would have struggled way more because he's given that base for us, and that's one of the most underrated signings this season. Not many people are going to talk about him, but he's still got room for improvement. And if he's more consistent, especially, I think with Doucoure, the main improvement that he needs to do, and I said this in the player ratings, he needs to make sure that he's consistently disciplined. I think that's his next step of his game. Consistently disciplined to not pick up yellow cards, because that's been a big issue from this year. But if you're considering that it's his first season, and we've even had a change of manager adapting to the Premier League, he even said it after the game against Everton. He said that the pace of the game is much faster in the UK, which makes sense because he's picking up a lot of yellow cards. Sometimes players go past him and he does struggle with that. But once he improves that, I think his game elevates to another level as well.
Let's think about this. We've now had 4 matches under Roy. Has he had a card since Roy's got
he hasn't. But he hasn't. But Roy spoke about this. It must have been after this game against Everton because I remember it just recently. It must have been his post-match. I think his actual, speaking to the media rather than Palace TV. I think he said it. He spoke to Guéhi and he mentioned Guéhi and Doucoure. He said it, and he said how one thing that we said to him or to those 2 players: don't get a yellow card. I'm going to trust you, but you need to make sure you're disciplined. And that's the thing. Roy had that conversation with him.
And he's showing it too. You know what I mean? That's just one of those things. That's a small thing that he did in essence. But he, as a manager, for you to have that conversation, to be candid with him and saying, we got to trust you. You got to be more disciplined. It's a very simple thing to do. Quick conversation to have with him. But look at the difference it's made for us and it's made for him and how he's responded to that. That's one thing that's really big as a player. He has responded in kind to the talk and the tutelage from the manager. That's huge. The fact that he's made it translate immediate. It's been immediate. He hasn't had a card in 4 matches because he's been more disciplined and he's played better immediately.
Yeah, and I think if he survives this game, he should be fine. So I think you have to go through 32 or 33 games, and afterwards, even that's not a worry. So he just has to survive the Wolves game, and then, there's no more worry about his yellow card situation. He won't be banned for 2 games. As it stands right now, it could be potentially banned for 2 games.
The thing that's weird, the thing that's weird is that, you know, he was getting coached by a guy like Patrick Vieira, who was such a world-renowned midfielder. But that piece, I guess that discipline piece, maybe that just wasn't something that came up. Maybe Vieira just liked the fact that he was just kind of like a marauding player who just, you know, just threw himself about every now and again. I don't know. Maybe he liked that about him, but I do like the fact that Roy's come in and really told him about the level of responsibility he has as our lone six.
Yeah. Any other players for you? So I picked Doucoure, a player that I want to see perform to get a good result in this game. Once again, I thought he was brilliant against Everton. Maybe some players that need to step up from the Everton game. Who can you think of?
For me, it's Ebbs, man. For me, it's Ebbs. Simply because when Ebbs has good games, we win. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. There are a few times when Eberechi Eze plays lights out that we don't win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking more about correlations between performances, because Doucoure can come out and have a fantastic match, but we could still tie or we could end up losing for one reason or another. But I feel like when you have a guy like Eze, if he comes out and he's getting on the ball, he's creating, he's getting shots, scoring goals, like those things really heavily correlate to us getting wins. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if he comes out and has a great game, then I think we end up coming out with a win for sure.
And I think that's a credit to our defense, because without the defense, that's the thing. As long as Eze is performing in attack, the defense have already got sorted.
And because it's one of those things. It's one of those things. They are going to do what they, you know, they got their stuff taken care of. We know what they're going to provide for us. We're also knowing what a guy like Sam Johnston provides for us in between the sticks right now. So it's like, hey, just go forward and do what you need to do.
It's like a sandwich cookie in America. That's how I imagine a sandwich cookie.
Facts, because look, here it is.
You got a good defense. You got a goalkeeper.
Look,
just combine them together.
You got the goalkeeper. Fantastic. You got the goalkeeper. He's the bottom cookie. All right. Then you got the midfield and the attack.
We just say he's the top cookie. He's a goalkeeper.
No. The top cookie. The top cookie is your back four. The top cookie is your back four. So between the defense, you got the real good defense, and then in that middle there, you got the everything, the part everybody really loves, the cream. You know what I'm saying?
The cream. Well, it depends.
Like
depends. Do you guys even have custard cream over there?
Yes, we do. We do.
Okay. We do. Yeah, but it's the sandwich version, not the normal.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Look, we'll talk about cookies in just a second. Let's wrap up this show first of all. In terms of injury concerns, so Wilf shouldn't be available, I believe, in this game. Ferguson also should be out.
And Nathaniel Klein is still out, I think.
And Nathaniel Klein is still out as well. So yeah, still 3 injuries, but then again, there isn't any other injury concern. Well, that's new from the Everton game, which is a positive. Now let's move on to our score predictions. Score predictions. How do you see this one going, to? Because I said against Everton it'll be tight, but maybe a 1-0 win. I got it wrong, but it was a tight game. In this game, it's hard, man. It's hard. So you know what? Because it's hard, I'm going to throw the ball over to you. You can say your score prediction first.
I'll go 2-0 Palace.
2-0 Palace. So you think it's going to be a confident win? Who's going to be on the score sheet? Oh, come on, Ebbs. Ebbs has to be there. You're just praising Ebbs, saying that if he has a good game, we'll win it. So you must have a good game.
I'm going to go with Ebbs. I was really thinking about the other one. I knew I was going to say Ebbs anyway, but I'll go with Ebbs.
Joe Ward.
Wow. I'll go with Ebbs. I'll go with Ebbs and Elise. We'll get a rare Elise goal.
I'm gonna go. I want to say 2-1, but I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm expecting a few more goals. Oh damn! I don't want to say 2-1 now. My heart's leaning on 0-0 or like.
I'm going nil on for us just because I really trusted our defense and Sam Johnston and what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm not gonna play any games. 2-1 Palace. I feel like we'll go back to winning ways. The reason for that is how Wolves set up away from home as well. There's gonna be more spaces in behind, as we've seen in the past game against the likes of Southampton and Leeds. I'm gonna go for Ebbs on the score sheet. And all jokes aside, IU once again, because remember IU whenever
and that's another one, man. If IU plays really, really well, like assist contribution, goal contribution, we'll probably win the match too. Like it's one of those. Like
it's crying there a few years ago when he scored a goal. I'm expecting more tears.
I remember
tears.
that.
So yeah, I'm expecting more tears from IU. So I'm gonna go for IU and I'm gonna go for Eze on the score sheet. Let us know what you guys think in terms of score prediction. Red says 2-1 to us. Looney says 2-1 Palace, Eze and Edouard. So we got a bit of Edouard hype in the chat. I mean, he's gonna be back on the score sheet. That's what Looney's saying. Red saying IU and Hughes. Seek is saying 4-1 win. That's pretty confident. Well, I guess from the Everton game, we've kind of answered the question now based on the chat. Is the confidence still hasn't went? It hasn't gone, despite being not a great performance based on the last 3 games that we played. The confidence is still there based on the chat, which is good to see. But yeah, look, before we wrap it up, Luke says 1-0 Palace, hard smash and grab, prepare for best spam. Anderson set piece from Elise. A says Sponty, clean sheet all day long. 2-0 Palace, Anderson and Elise. That'd be beautiful.
Ooh, Anderson.
Clean sheet,
I've been waiting for Anderson to get ahead for a goal.
Yeah. Or I wouldn't mind Elise on the score sheet as well. To be fair, I wouldn't mind. It's not like they're not our players. I don't honestly care if Sam Johnson scores. Whoever scores, just score for the sake of scoring, bro. But yeah, I wouldn't mind anyone on the score sheet, literally. But yeah, Everton was really lucky against us. I wouldn't say lucky because we didn't create that many chances, but I hear where you come from.
Doucoure get that.
Doucoure, yeah. It'll be nice to see Doucoure. Bro, as long as Doucoure doesn't get another yellow card, that's like a goal to me at this rate. Just don't get a yellow card in this game. That's like scoring a goal to me. Because we survived. We survived with him. We've desperately needed him, especially when Wilf is out, just to have a bit more balance in the team, and he's delivered that. So another game with no yellow cards. That's 1-0 Doucoure. We could be safe if we win tomorrow. I don't know if mathematically. I don't think that's the case, right? It's too early. Surely it's too early. We could look at the league table, but we actually spoke about the league table. But I don't think we mathematically.
It might not be. Yeah, it might not be mathematic. It might not be mathematic, but it'd be like barring a huge collapse.
Yeah. Well, it should be 4-game. If Everton lose as well, it should be like a 4-game gap. So pretty much basically there. If you win tomorrow and against West Ham, yeah. But in all honesty, I'm not worried about relegation. I think that ship has sailed. That's fine. Like we've gone past that stage.
Looking up at this point.
As long as we get a draw, that's the most important thing. Tomorrow, if you can get a draw, that would be the worst result. Just like an Everton game. They don't close the gap against us. They're 13th. Remember that.
Right.
If they win, then they catch up to us into the league table. So as long as we get a draw, then that gap, another game's gone by, and we picked up a point, probably separating towards the bottom of the teams, and also Wolves can't catch up to us. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow for the live match reaction. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe to not miss out on that. We thought we might change up a bit. We've done a live match preview. If you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're watching on replay, make sure to leave down your thoughts on the game in the comment section down below. That's it from me and T. And until next time, up the Palace.
Of the Palace.